Alright friends, well good morning here from Black Moshannon State Park. What is our goal for today?
We're gonna hike the Bog Trail. So you can make it a loop and just walk on the road, and that's a half mile, but we're gonna do just a little bit more than that. We're gonna hike the Bog Trail, and then that connects to the Moshannon Trail, and then connect to the Indian Trail, and then I think it's called the Hay Road Trail.
So Moshannon is, I believe, an Iroquois word for moose something. Moose Creek? It says on the map. Moose something. We talked about it in last week's episode. This area was originally inhabited by the Iroquois and Seneca Indians, and that's where the name comes from, is Moshannon. And then black is the tannin that makes the water look dark. So that's where the state park gets its name. We're camped over at the campground, and this is just a quick, easy drive over from there. We're at this parking lot here, which is a boat mooring area, and this is the beginning of the Bog Trail. So we're going to get the dogs out of the truck. It says on the sign this is a good area for bird watching. So you may see eagles or osprey or hawks and things of that nature. Predatory birds if you're here. And it looks like a very scenic area. I really want to bring the kayaks here and kayak at some point in time when it's a little warmer. This is the middle of November, so it's quite cold, but it's actually warm for November, so not a big deal. These wetlands here at Black Moshannon are a protected area of the state park, so they provide a boardwalk so you can observe with minimal disturbance. The mosses and stuff decomposing creates a unique environment here as it relates to the colder temperatures that you would experience in this region. It should be an interesting place to explore. This sphagnum moss, which you'll see all over the ground around here, and that's what releases the tannins that colors the water. That's also what makes this area a bog and a unique ecosystem. It says it can soak up to 25 times its weight in water, and it holds that in. It holds that moisture in the soil. And I read also that the groundwater around here is very shallow, or the bedrock rather is very shallow. These areas, even before this lake was dammed up, was all a bog. And then the lake, of course, came quite a bit later. Sphagnum moss, it makes the area acidic, which prevents the area from decaying. So all this stuff, it just kind of sits here and festers. And yeah, so like decomposition of dead things comes to a halt completely because of it. Very unique area. You can see this trail kind of weaves through here. You can probably see Sarah just up ahead. It's very pretty. And again, coming up here to explore this on kayaks would be quite the adventure. So when we're planning these trips, we try to create a good balance between kid-friendly hikes and some more difficult things. So like this one here obviously is something where the kids can roam a little more freely. Even the waterfall one we did a couple days ago was very kid-friendly. I assume we appreciate this more than yesterday.
This is nice, yeah. Some of the trails that we're going to attempt to do after this one, they say more difficult, so we'll see how those go with kids and dogs at the same time. But
yeah, the dogs make it 10 times worse to do anything. That's why we didn't take them yesterday or the day before. So the Bog Trail is definitely a family-friendly hike. There's been a lot of other people down here with children, and it's a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, you can see the scenery behind us is pretty phenomenal and pretty unique. I don't know if you'll see it in the footage or if you'll see it in the time lapse or maybe some portion of both, but a big bald eagle, it was an older one with a big white head and stuff, flew right across in front of us, so it was pretty awesome. You get to stand here and take in the sights like that here at Black Moshannon. Definitely makes the hike worth it, and we haven't even done very much yet. So friends, it appears we have reached the Indian Trail. It's funny, the one state park map said that it was like a mile long, and I thought maybe I was just real bad at measuring scales, especially after yesterday. But there was no way it was going to be a mile long, so I think there's an error. This says 0.2, which makes a lot more sense. The Moshannon Trail will continue that way for 7.3 miles. I'm not exactly sure where it goes, but that's supposed to be a fairly difficult trail, and if you had more time, that would be something you could do. We're a little strapped for time today. We've got a fairly busy schedule, so we're just out for a quick walk, and we're going to show you around the campground then too before we get out of here. So we're going to keep on walking down the trail though, and then this should lead to something that should lead us right back to the truck. Alrighty, my friends, we have completed the Hay Road Trail. It comes down this person's driveway right here. So if you're wanting to do this in reverse, which I would say I would recommend that, you would just walk down the road until you see this sign. I think it's 610 is the driveway. We got to walk down the road just a smidge to get to the truck. I'm not completely sure if it's in this parking lot or the next one up. Either way, it's fine. What a beautiful fall morning. Brisk fall morning for sure. It was very frosty when we first woke up in the camper. So it was in the low 30s, I'm sure. But it's turning out to be a beautiful day, just like the rest of this trip has. So let's go get in the truck and back to the camper. We'll show you around the campground tonight. So what did we do, like a mile?
1.4 miles.
Oh, so that's not that bad.
No, and we were out for a little over an hour, but that's just because we were going slow. We weren't, out to break records or anything, so.
Yeah, we were kind of dawdling around, but not too bad whatsoever. So yeah. So we're here at Site 12 at Black Moshannon, which, this rig's 35 feet, and it says it's big enough for a 40-foot rig, and I would say that's accurate, although it's a little bit slanted, so you want to position yourself a little better in here if you choose this site. But I think there's some better sites in the campground, so we're going to kind of walk around and maybe show you some of those.
There's a lot better sites. The paved sites up there are really nice, but they're no pets allowed.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and then some of the sites that I'm going to show you are closed for the season. We've only had a couple options whenever we booked, but of course, like I said, this is November, so a lot of the campground is closed. And then Site 18 here has a pretty big fifth wheel in it, so that's an option. The ones on the opposite side of the road, so they'd be the odd numbers, are smaller, so those don't work. This site here probably, I don't know what number it is, but it had a fifth wheel in it I think earlier too, and that probably would have been a good one. Yeah, so that one there that I was just talking about, that's 47. And then over here on this side, this could be full hookup, I'm not sure, but that's site number 50, and then 53. Those are both really big sites, as is 51. So, moral of the story is, a Pennsylvania State Park just like this one, we should have no problem getting our 35-foot rig in here. There's a little bit of a tight turn getting into the campground, but it really wasn't a big deal. And then down here, 52 and whichever one that is, this is your line of full hookup sites here. But this area is, of course, closed for the season. The ones above the full hookups, I think those are all pretty spacious as well. But that's why we went with 35 feet, is because we figured that was kind of the maximum that we could get away with in Pennsylvania State Parks, which is obviously where we spend most of our time. And then when we're elsewhere, it wouldn't be the hugest deal to go to a private campground if we had to, but to do that on the regular would get expensive really fast. You do have a bathhouse. We haven't been in them, but they're here, and they're usually clean at all the PA state parks. We've never had a problem with that. This whole area going down this way is no pets, so it doesn't work for us, but there's a lot more campsites down this way. And if you like, you know, to be away from people's dogs or whatever, because I can understand why they'd be annoying sometimes, so there's a place for you too. So if you don't have dogs and you want the best site in the house, now I don't think this would fit our rig, but it'd be cool with them big kitchen windows if we were here, because look, lakes right there. This is site number 68. I think that's 66 right above me. Both would get you a great view of the lake here at Black Moshannon. These are again closed for the winter. I'd almost ship the dogs off to my parents to have this site here. Be a very nice view, although it may be quite difficult to get turned around down here. They just have kind of a big paved area and then a place for you to kind of back up. So 69 is a nice site too. So this would be the spot to be. If you don't have pets, you get the premium sites here at Black Moshannon. Sarah says Bigfoot's not real, so I don't know, but it seems to me he was hiding under the bench up there. This is the lake. Believe it, the dam might be up that way, where the outflow is. You do have a lovely beach over there, so if you're here in the summertime, like I said, we're going to try to come back here in the summer because kayaks and stuff on the other side of this bridge right here. This would be a great place for the kids and stuff, and it is within walking distance of the campground. You just seen us walk down through from our site, so it's really not a big deal at all. And that's my favorite type of place, is when you can camp up at the campground and then just walk down to the beach. You don't have to get in the truck and drive every which place all the time. That gets annoying, especially with kids and car seats and stuff, and when they're wet from swimming, it's just a mess. So you just walk, and so that's what, to me, makes this place pretty awesome, actually.
Yes, and then also it's good for us to have a playground for the kids to play when they're done swimming.
That is true. There is a playground over there on the beach, and then there's also one up by the full hookup sites at the campground. So no shortage of kid-friendly things here at Black Moshannon. While Rachel still has the kids over at the playground, I get to try my new ladder out. This is the extra step that you have to go through. So she came over and swept out the inside. The inside floor has got to be perfectly clean when you put the slide in. But up there, when you're at these state parks, especially this time of year, you may get some leaf litter on top of there, and that's no good. The rig came with mounts for a leopard ladder. That leopard ladder is like $300. I'm not spending $300 on a ladder. This one, $75 on Amazon, and it's going to accomplish the same thing, except for there's no hooks or nothing to hold it up. So we just kind of stick it up here somehow, and we're going to go up and sweep off the slide. If I don't see any debris up there, then we'll just get down and we won't sweep anything. So there's just a few bits of something over there. The roof on this thing is walkable, so no big deal. You can see our solar panel over there, and then this is the vent that needs a cover. We'll have to buy one of them. So lots to do to make this perfect, but for now we'll just sweep all this stuff off so we can get it pulled in. Alright, now we got to make sure that any drinks we want out of the refrigerator, we get them out, because that'll be the end of that. So myself a Gatorade. The kids have all their stuff, so we're good there. Alright, so now with a push of a button, we're going to bring this sucker in. Alright, and that is that. So let's just get the outside. Now, of course, you can tell we have no access to anything anymore. We had to make sure all the kitchen doors and drawers and all that stuff was closed before we do this. We can access the bathroom over here, so going down the road, that's good, and anything else we need needs to go in the master bedroom. So the stabilizers, friends, on this rig are really, really easy to deal with comparatively. All you do is just loosen it just a smidge and then pull up on this and you can go up with it like that. You have to fiddle around just a little bit, but putting them down is actually easier than going up. And then that clips on there just like that. You don't have to monkey around with the drill or nothing like you used to. Dump station situation here with all this water that we use. It's taking quite a while to dump. One more thing though that I have to remember now, because this hitch is different, is to make sure that these little dials here, hopefully you can see them, that these little dials here are turned on, because you can turn the sway on and off with this. And in theory, you know, you might want it off as you're going around the campground and then turn it on as you're exiting. Another note is when I went to look at the propane, the gauges on the propane bottles actually said that more than what they did earlier. So I'm wondering if something was running and using propane when I checked before, and that maybe that when something's running and pulling the pressure, the gauges don't work right. So maybe we didn't use as much propane as I thought. It's all learning and learning and learning some more, and eventually we'll get this rig to the point where we know it like we did our last one. But for now, as soon as this here drains, which it's still draining. As soon as it drains, we're getting out of here, friends. We will see you next week, Thursday at 5 o'clock. We're doing a full tour, the inside and outside, and everything we like and don't like about this floor plan and camper and stuff. We've given you snippets of it throughout this Black Moshannon State Park series, but we want to give you the whole thing. So